And you ain't got to be from West Side. You can be anywhere. We've had people all the way from Texas call us with radio shows. We've had people from Atlanta. We've had people from DC. We've had people from all over the city and state. I mean, the county and state that are tuned in. But again, we just tend to say West Side. People talk about West Side issues right here on the West Side. But hey, you can be from anywhere. And as you may know by looking at the topic of the show, we are saying, you know what? We gotta stop this killing, man. We gotta stop the killing. I mean, this thing that happened the other day out south on the 4th of July, where you had individuals coming to someone's door 6 in the morning and gunning a whole family down, is beyond words to even say. How can that be? And the saddest part is, I know an individual, I know a person that's their cousin. I talked to him a few times this weekend. He just lost his brother due to a heart attack or some other complications. But along with that, he just lost all these relatives that were gunned down, including little kids. Who comes to your door and shoot everybody at the door? It makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. But we gotta stop killing, man. We gotta stop it. And there's so many ideas out here. I've talked to a person. They were saying, we gotta shame people. We gotta shame people into doing, into doing the things that they need to do. And doing the right thing. Let's just say that. You're doing the right thing. And is that really true? Maybe. It's a good possibility that we could. Has it worked? The person that told me, they said it works. It actually worked. That they by shaming people, people can change their ways. And I was told, the way you shame them is you tell them, the person that they respect, be it maybe their grandmother or their grandfather or someone that they respect, they tend to change their ways when they find a person that they respect that figures out what they're doing or knows what they're doing. But whatever it takes, we gotta stop killing, man. I mean, it used to be a time when someone said, "Oh, Senior was shot and killed by mistake or deliberately or whatever." A child was shot. I mean, we would drop our jaws in awe and say, "Wow, how can that be?" But I mean, as we go on and on, we see that that people are dying. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, what age you are for these criminal types. It doesn't matter. But nevertheless, we got to do some things different. We have to look at how we change people. I mean, our society, as we know it, cannot continue down this road the same way. I mean, what is considered despicable? What is considered taboo? What is considered untouchable? It's as if no one cares about whether or not you can do these things. Where's the moral compass? That's what I'm trying to say. Where is the moral compass? And who's the one that's monitoring it and who's guiding it? I see this on and on. I mean, I hear about people being shot. I hear about people being killed, and it just doesn't set well with me, man. I mean, it's day in and day out, and I think I've been saying this for quite a while now that we need to repeal, or not repeal, but bring back the assault weapons ban. Start with that. You know, let's start with that. Why do we need to have people with assault weapons? You know, I had a talk with Congressman Davis just this weekend, Friday, and we were talking about certain rules or constitutional rights and things that are on the books. And we talked about the right to bear arms. It's like that was enacted back when they had to have arms to ward off animals or ward off warring tribes against, you know, the newly found, let's just say what it is, colonists, colonialists or colonists, whatever it's called. But nevertheless, why do we need to have the right? And don't get me wrong, it's okay to have the right to do it. I just think that certain things you shouldn't have to have. I mean, since we got the right to bear arms, can I bear the arm of a bazooka? I mean, why not? They make them. There's a company out there that's a capitalistic company that makes bazookas and what they call them, RGP, what do they call those? Rocket launchers, rocket propelled RPGs. Rocket propelled guns. I think that's what they're called, propelled guns. I mean, you know, right to bear arms. Can I just get a huge bomb and just ride around in the plane with it because I have a right to? I mean, certain things we shouldn't have. We don't need. Why do we need to have these things? Especially in a closed society like, well, I don't want to say closed society, but a civilization that we live in, that was supposed to be civil and live in. Why do we need certain things? Look at England. Look at Britain. Look at the United Kingdom. They don't have people don't carry guns in those areas, in those locations, and I'm sure they don't have anywhere near the problems that we have. Mind you, they're probably a quarter of our size as a nation, if that. I don't even think they're 75 million, maybe 100. I don't know. Anybody know what's the population of the United Kingdom? Because, you know, Britain is one thing, United Kingdom is another thing. Scotland's part of this, and Britain's part of that, and the United Kingdom is all of this. But England, let's just use the old term, England. What's the population? I guess I could Google it and get it quicker than anybody else. But again, you know, what does anybody say about that? How about you? Anybody out there, Crystal, other than you? I think somebody. I can't see everybody now because I need the other screen. But nevertheless, what do you say about all of this? Crystal, if you hear me. Hello? One second. One second. Hold on. Uh-oh. There we go. Get my screens together here. Everybody. Did everybody hear what I was saying in regards to the killing?
I heard you, and it's senseless. It's so depressing and senseless. But you know, the motive behind these killings, you know, it's the black on black killing. Those people have no morals. They have no respect of person. and the reason why they're killing is probably something stupid. So, you can't reach them. How are you going to get to them? You don't even know who they are. So how are we going to solve it if the police can't solve it? And, that's something else, because I look at how fast they found the people that killed that little Latino boy over there on Jackson. They found them killers real fast, but they can't seem to find the killers of Black people. They haven't found the killers for that Black police officer. They haven't found the killers of nobody that's killed the Black people that I know of. So how can they find them so fast, and they can't find the ones that kill Black people fast?
Well, I'm not gonna say that's 100% true. They did find the killers for the Black policemen. The one young man turned his, and then the other one, I think he was hiding out in somebody's house out south.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So why can't? I mean,
and then the killing the other day that just happened with the family. They did catch one 15-year-old. They're looking for another or some others or something.
That killed the lady, the two ladies, and shot the little kids up. They found them.
Right. They found the one of the 15-year-olds. Yes. That did it. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me. I actually talked to the cousin of that family, and he literally told me.
This West Side.
The motive was based on
that's Steve Robinson.
On some stuff with believe it or not, the boyfriend of somebody. He didn't tell me which one, the youngest one or the older one or whichever one, but the boyfriend. They were actually looking for the boyfriend, which is stupid. You just go and ring somebody's bell and just start shooting everybody that's in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the life we're living. This is the world we're living in, and I mean, I can't explain it, but I tell you one thing: we gotta stop. We gotta stop killing, man. We have to. If we don't do nothing else, we have to stop that.
How? Where do we start? How do we start?
When you don't want a child to eat lead paint, what do? You get rid of the lead paint, or you scold the kids from picking up things and putting it in their mouths, or you monitor them closer. We got to do all the above. I mean,
well, we need to get rid of the guns, but for every gun we get rid of, there's somebody out there.
Yeah, well,
don't necessarily have to be Black. That's got a whole store full of guns. They got a storehouse full of them.
Well, let's be real about this. Every time they come out with a new gun, do you have to have it like it's the next best microwave? It's the next best CD. Nobody even uses CDs anymore. The next best cell phone. How many? The guns ain't changed. Guns haven't changed since the Chinese invented them. They run off of gunpowder. The projectiles are bullets. This is the same thing that happened over 600 years ago. Probably 1,000 years now, almost since gunpowder. Over 1,000 years since gunpowder. But my point is, why do we have to have a new model? Got to have the latest looking gun. Really? You got to have the latest looking gun? I was talking to Miss Drummond. I don't know if everybody knows Miss Drummond. She's 102 this year. And we were talking on the 4th of July. And we talked for about an hour. And she said, Steve, I hope these people not, I'm hearing all this noise. I hope these people are not shooting guns out here by my house. I said, really? She said, yeah, when I was living in Lawndale, somebody shot through my window. Scared the mess out of me. She said, I'm scared of guns. I said, Miss Drummond, you scared of something? I'm like, you are scared of something? Seriously, Miss Drummond? You're 102 years old. How can you be afraid of anything? And she said, no, Steve, I'm afraid of guns. She said, my husband had, just to show you how detached she is, she said, my husband had a big old 38. I'm like, 38? Really? That's a squirrel shooter these days. People walking around with 226s and 50 cals and guns that shoot over 100 times. I'm like a 38. 38 shoots what? 5 bullets? A 38 caliber, which is relatively still kind of small, but it got a little punch to it, a little kick to it. But most 38s are revolvers. Almost all 38s are revolvers. I don't even think they make a 38 in an automatic. So for her to say that kind of scared her, that gun, I was like, Ms. Drummond, I understand you're 102, but you talking like you might as well be talking about a muscuload, or an old cowboy pistol where they had to put the cap in there. I mean, not the cap, I forgot what they call it. But it was like they had to load this, they had to put the bullets in, and then they had to put like a percussion cap. Yeah, it was a percussion cap they had to do back in the cowboy days, 1700s, 1800s, whatever. But yeah, man, she said she's afraid at 102. And I'm saying, realistically, we got to stop this killing. And one of the things I believe, like you just said, I was like, well, who are they? Well, man, come on. All these people creating all these crimes and all these problems, they own your block. They own the block. They ain't in these penthouses. They ain't downtown. They ain't living down there. They're living on somebody's block. And guess what they do? They all talk. They all talk. And they're so bad now, they ain't just talking, they showing. They're leaving a whole trail of videos and everything. These people, they have no sense of privacy when they're creating these heinous acts. It's as simple as how I put it. They want to be seen. And the problem is we have such a proliferation of weapons in America. I think they said we have anywhere from, 11 guns for every man, woman, and child in America. It's either 3 or 11. I know that's a big stretch, but I mean, we got 300 now. It used to be 300 million. I remember we had 200 million people in America. I remember we reached the landmark of 300. Now we're 330 million, which that's probably not true, because we know a lot of people just in here and ain't been documented on nothing. So we probably another 20% of what that is. Add on another 60 million. So almost 400 million people. We got 3 to 11 guns per person, every man, woman, and child. Now, why do we have to have that many guns for every man, woman, and child? Ain't nobody hunting no food no more. Half the people out here that's under the age of 30 or 40, they think food come in a can. They don't even know you grow it. So I mean, realistically, why do we have to have it? Yeah, we got to have protection. That's true. I totally understand that. But when is enough is enough? And the other side of the coin is law enforcement told me the people that's walking around with concealed carry, they're the biggest culprits of getting guns in the wrong hands. Because half the time they're walking around with it, they print, they show what they call printing, which means you can see the imprint of the gun on them, and the bad person sneaks up behind and sticks one in their back and says, "Give me that goddamn gun," and they take it, or they leave it in their car, or they leave it in their house unlocked, unsecured, or they leave it, then they just go get another one because they got the right to, they got the legal right to, they got everything they need. What they call DD, what is it? Ford card and what is it called? The right to carry, whatever it is. I don't even know anymore. What is it, man? What do you call it? I don't even know, because that's beyond me. What's it called? Concealed carry. CCW. Concealed carry weapon, I guess. But you got the right, but people out here just helping the market or the streets get more, get more free guns, and that's nothing. I don't think a lot of these people out here that are committing these crimes, I don't even think they're buying these guns. I think they're just flat out taking them. I mean, they're breaking in the stores. Somebody says it's CCL. Is it CCL? That's what it is. What's the L stand for? Conceal carry legally? I don't know. But nevertheless, you gotta do, but how many is enough? Then you gotta have a gun to protect your gun. I get it. A lot of people say I'd rather be caught with it than without it. But other ways to protect yourself too. Don't be in a situation. Don't go where you know situations are. And if you gotta go there, do what you need to do. Be safe about it. That's all. But I don't really think these guys out here. It's just hard for me to see. First of all, when you're talking about ARs and automatic rifles, most of them cost over $1,200, $1,500. Now, will an idiot go out and well, if the idiot would go out, he'll use another gun to go get the money to get that gun, I guess. But my point is, I just don't see them spending that kind of money for weapons. And there are quite a few long rifles out there these days. Yeah, somebody says straw purchases. Yeah, you got straw purchases. That still goes on. I knew people back in the day. They used to go to Atlanta and get all these guns, and they would come back here and sell them. I'm like, do you not realize what you're doing? You're creating a situation where somebody's gonna pull these guns on you, or somebody that you know, or somebody that you love, or somebody that's close to you, because you're just feeding yourself. You're being selfish. You're thinking about only self, or I could legally do this. Well, can you? Can a person legally sell hundreds of guns just because you have a license to buy it? At one point you got to become a dealer, I would think. Let me hear from anybody. What y'all got to say about this topic? All I'm saying is we got to stop the killing. Stop the killing. What Bob says, he said the country boys build them. Yeah, they probably do build them. But, country boys grow tobacco too. We learned 60, 70 years ago, tobacco creates cancer. I don't think there's many people that used to smoke anymore. And the ones that do, they're on the death wish anyway, so what you gonna do about that? I just don't think I think being informed and aware is the best thing. You inform a person, you make them aware of things, you give them options and choices, and let them know the circumstances and the consequences. And then they make an informed decision. And I don't think many people want to look at themselves as being stupid after making an informed, having all the information. So most people tend to do the logical thing once they have all the information that's needed. Again, cigarettes used to be one of the #1 killers of people, with lung cancer or cancer in general. You hardly hear about it like that. Cancer is probably one of the higher, #1 killers, but not from cigarettes anymore. I mean, we used to see cigarette billboards everywhere. They would have cigarettes. I remember the first time I got on an airplane in the 80s, the late 80s. People were smoking on the plane. It was allowed on the plane. And I'm sitting there thinking, how is that the smoking section when I'm still on the same plane with you? Like the smoke ain't gonna trickle back to where I was at, And the crazy part was they weren't in the back of the plane. They were in the middle. Like you put the smokers right in the middle. They said this is smoking section. But again, we gotta stop killing, y'all. We gotta come up with solutions. We gotta have something that's gonna, change. Something's gotta change. It's just not working. It's just not working. And we hear this on and on. And then the bad thing is no, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we do that one. We'll do that. Because I gotta control both of these. The bad thing is that we look for the holidays and say, oh man, it's gonna be more people killed. It's gonna be how is the count gonna be more than last year? I mean, this is what we look forward to every holiday? Makes no sense. Every weekend, I remember you used to be the weekend. I mean, for the summer weekend, how many people? And you hear this on and on again, and on and on. And it's like the death count is the count we look for, which makes no sense. No sense. Okay. So you got to stay there. Oh, but anyway, somebody talk to me. What y'all think about that?
Steve, I was just wondering, the holiday is probably a little higher because people shoot up in the air, don't think where them bullets gonna fall, for one, right? They just shooting up in the air for the 4th, and the bullets got to go somewhere. So that's one thing. And then the other one, I always think about, I don't think necessarily these weapons are not could be put back into like the police cell holes. Remember over there on Chicago Avenue, that police station, that dirty police station, the one got closed down that was doing all that dirt. I believe some of those.
Wait. No, tell me about this. Where was this?
Right there off Valora, the old police station over there on Chicago Avenue.
You mean the district?
Yeah. How dirty they was. I'm just piggybacking on, a lot of them was dirty, and a lot of weapons probably ain't just coming from like us just straw purchasing or coming out of somebody's house and stuff. It's too many guns for Chicago to be a dry place for guns. You got all these surrounding places. You got Wisconsin, you got Indiana. And when I was saying about the country boys, I know somebody that be getting a real legal weapons. These boys will build you weapons. And when you go to the gun range, that's all you see is them white boys buying 10, 11 guns, rifles and shotguns, and before the AR, got banned. So, yeah. It's a lot of straw purchasing going around here.
But you just said they're buying them at the shop.
They ban them at the shop. They ban them at the shop, but a lot of them getting straw purchase. These women bag. You could buy a gun for somebody, and they could just have it. It don't necessarily have to. You could buy a gun for somebody. Just put it that way.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I knew someone that did that. They were doing that in the 80s. And they would go to Atlanta and get all these guns, and they'd come back here and sell them. I'm like, don't you realize you flooding the market, but them guns gonna be pointing at you or somebody you love or somebody you care about or somebody you don't want to be injured because you bringing that garbage here. It's like.
But they go to them sale places that they just go on the side of the road where they have them big guns, where they sell guns, and you can straw purchase. Some of them not even ask for background checks there.
Believe me, I know exactly what you're talking about. They call gun shows.
Yes. Yes. And they don't ask for nothing. They don't ask for nothing.
Don't ask for nothing, money. Well, they want the money, but the problem is you don't even know if that gun got a murder on it.
Exactly.
Because you buying it and you just like, oh, here's the documents, here's the gun, and give me the money. And you don't see that person again because it's a show. The show only lasts about 4 hours, if that. And but again, this is our culture. You got a question, Crystal?
Yeah, I was just talking to someone I know from the South Side a couple of days ago, and they were saying they did like a round table thing with youth. They just went around picking up youth, or they've been making connections with youth, the ones that, they ain't coming to know nothing, right? The ones got the guns, the ones sitting in their house all day playing games, and they ain't looking for no jobs, and all of that. They got all these programs out here, but we know there's another culture of young people. They ain't involved in none of that stuff, and they the ones out here with the guns. And so they offered them I guess a stipend or something if they would come and basically do this anonymous conversation with them, because they wanted to know where they're getting the guns. And so they told them, because they told the youth, well, okay, you ain't got no job, you barely got a place to stay, where are you getting these guns? And they told them that they're getting the guns, they paying for the guns after they done stole your car or stuck you up, okay, and got your credit card and drained all the cash off of it, right? And then they going over the border and they got purchasers over there, right? And they give the money to them and they go buy the guns for them, okay, over in Indiana, and so that's the way the game rolls. They do whatever crimes here and or wherever state you in, right? But it's a lot of financial crimes, scamming people online to get their credit card numbers, and robbing them on the street. It's a lot of different ways they're getting people's financials. And then and then he even said something about like the black market, the credit card numbers and the debit card on this black market, right? And they get the information there. So, but that's the money that they're using to buy these guns, from these straw buyers and
So let's
stuff.
start.
So
Let's start with just what you just said. So first of all, if you got anybody living in your house, they don't have a job, but they got money.
right,
They don't have a job, but they got guns.
right.
They don't have a job, but they got credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
Who the problem is?
Well, we know who the problem is. We got that part. We definitely know who the problem is. But guess what? There's a lot of those, adults that are, like I say, this is more than just this generation. We talking about 3 generations back, right? At least, sometime longer than that. That have not been engaged in raising their kids, okay, or their families and stuff. And I mean, God, anytime, because in some cases I didn't met grandfathers, the son and the grandson all in prison, right? Or been to prison. You like, what the heck? And stuff. But it's families like that all over.
That's called a Carruthers family.
Oh, shut up. But I'm just saying, so I mean, that's a common thing. It's just not in Black culture. It happens in every culture, you see, and everything. So, and then, back to the guns and the gangs, guess what? That's in every culture too. You see, it's just not Black, of course we got stats saying who, the most people being murdered by these guns and everything. And I just read something recently, and it was 80% Black. That's kind of that is a large number and everything. But but that's I believe here in Illinois. If you go to California or Texas or whatever, that number could change because they got different dynamics with gangs and guns and stuff.
Right.
Well, here I don't even know if we got any gangs here, but they still claim them as gangs in some of those other places
Of course. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, you're right. They claiming them, but we got them. You do know we got them, right? We do got games.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know we got crime. You know, I don't care who they belong to. You know, I
No, but
know to watch my back. Okay.
yeah, no, my point was that all of these people, when we look at these issues and all this crime, we got people that's harboring these people.
Oh,
And I'm
sure.
saying, you sitting there harboring them, what part of this are you trying to deny? Because I'm just saying, you know,
And I don't think they trying to deny anything. I think that's the misconception. They are whatever they family dynamic. It's been just that bridge had broke many decades ago, right? And so they just living, right? They just living, and these people are controlling, you know, these grandkids or these adult, you know, whoever they are. They just controlling grandma's house or whoever's house, right? And you know, and so basically they just living, and they have no control over these people that they didn't train when they were supposed to, God knows, you know, decades ago. Now they old, they definitely can't do nothing with them. Okay. And same with the parents, you know, if they got these kids doing this, you know, and you know, they missed they boat, you know, a long time ago when they were supposed to be doing something, you know, to raise them that they didn't take.
So you saying they're just ignoring it?
Was bad parenting, that's all. Or they didn't know that they had a responsibility. And now at this point, like they say, when it didn't turn to mud, you know, that you know, it's the woulda, shoulda, couldas. You know, have you ever talked to somebody before they died, Steve? You know, I have. And people always have regrets, right? Right before they die, right? You know, it's something, you know, it could be something small, you know, or it could be, you know, something big, you know. And but they always gonna have something. You know, I ain't gonna have none unless I had a vacation plan that week and I'm, you know, found out I'm gonna be taking my last breath and be like, damn, you mean I'm gonna miss that trip? So I think that's about the only one I'm gonna have. Okay, but yeah, you know, people do have them, and I could just imagine those parents or those grandparents in those situations. You know that they not living a good life. You know, and even if they are, I mean, I know parents. I met them. I don't know them, but you know where their kids got into the drug game a long time ago, and two or three of their sons got murdered, you know. So, you know, I think to myself, damn, you know, was it something that the parents should have done, you know, a long time ago? So then that wouldn't have happened. Or in some cases, the parent was selling drugs. And then the kids got into it. And sometimes they get quite lucrative and buy big houses and big cars, and they ain't living in the ghetto, you know, and none of that. But it all comes, you know, there comes a time, right? And whether that's they all going to prison, or somebody, you know, is trying to take over something and somebody's getting ready to die and stuff. So anyway, it's just a mess.
But
That we
but my thing is, you said bad parenting. The parents 50, 60 years old, and the kids 30, 40, 50 years old sitting up in the room. What part? You ain't parenting no more when you got these grown ass people sitting in your house, these overgrown ass people, these grandkids. They got goddamn grandkids themselves.
right, right.
So my point is, you got to figure something. What the hell's going on? What they doing? If they leaving that house,
they know.
No, they doing something. So
oh yeah, they know they doing something, but that's the part.
They're just scared. Is that what it is?
And that's it. It's fear. It's fear at that point. You see, it's fear at that point. You know, it's fear. And so now you got people living in your house that you're afraid of. Because if you say anything to them, they gon', because it probably has already happened several times, where they lash out at them. But yet it's their house, okay? Or their apartment, and they, in a lot of cases, are paying the bills, but they're afraid for their own life. So there's nothing they can do.
It's a benefit, that's what you're saying.
They getting the benefits, that's for sure. Because I've heard the parents bragging, yeah, my son this and oh yeah, till you find out, yeah, oh, okay, so that's how the parent was getting all this stuff, because either the adult children were thieves or drug dealers or whatever. I remember, this has been years ago, when I it was a situation like that, and then some people got killed. I was living in Atlanta at the time. I get a call from one of my friends telling me, so and so's, kid was a grown person at that point, and then they shared the story with me. They said, "Oh yeah, how did you think? She was driving them fancy cars and living in her, she was getting those benefits, right? But now here the benefits had come to the end because somebody had murdered this child, right? Or this grown man, and whatever, and so it's like." Things we turn a blind eye to when it's a benefit, you see, but then it's wreaking havoc or harm on somebody else. It's gonna knock on your door one day, but people don't look at it like that when they getting those benefits.
So the reality is there are no such things as morals. The moral fiber of our culture has been ripped apart, diminished, burned. There's a hole in it, whatever you want to call it, because the minute you got a family of derelicts, because you're a derelict too. If you know these people out here killing people, and you got them sitting up in your house, and they got an arsenal of guns, right. They talking about it, and they sit in your house.
Right.
You're a derelict too.
Right, exactly. But how it is, yeah, that's true. And like I say, until and those same, you saw those people got shot over the house on the 4th of July. Those people that killed all those folks went home somewhere, right?
Right.
They went somewhere with those guns and those ski masks, right?
Right.
And so, that's the, I think about, where did, for them to go somewhere, that they call home, like who else is involved in this that that they just did this to somebody. You might not have known who, but they come in there with all this stuff, and then you just, the person that lives there is a victim too, because they scared.
Look, I just told you, 102-year-old Mrs. Drummond, she told me she's scared of guns. And I had to ask her 2 times, I said, Miss Drummond, you afraid of something? You afraid of something? She said, I'm scared of guns, Steve. I'm scared of guns. And I'm like, I guess everybody's scared of something. But I guess my point is, since we're so afraid, it's causing people to die. It's causing killers to walk amongst us like it ain't nothing else. Just check your text. You don't have this on your text. Never had it at all. Anyway, my point is, these killers ain't living in no penthouse. They ain't living downtown. They living on our blocks. They living on our streets. And we know this. And the reason I say that, because somebody brought up the police officer that was killed by the 2 young men. One of them young men was able to stay hidden for over a week, unless he living in a goddamn forest, which he ain't gonna do that because he ain't got the wherewithal. he was staying at somebody's house. And how do you let a young 15, 16, 17-year-old person stay at your house aimlessly without saying, hey, were your parents looking for you? Why are you here? Unless he came to them and told them, hey, man, I just killed a police officer. Let me stay here. And then you hear that, what you do? You let that happen? I mean, this ain't no first time this has ever happened. This ain't the fifth time. This has been thousands of times this has happened. And when I say thousands, this shit been going on for decades. And it's gotten worse because the ages are younger and younger. At one point, I remember talking to Superintendent Johnson, and we were at a dinner with the mayor. We were sitting at the table with the mayor, and a circuit court judge screams out to him, "What are we gonna do about this violence? What are we gonna do about this gun violence?" And the mayor was sipping on her gumbo. She cut her eyes at Johnson, like, "Yeah, I want to hear what you got to say too." So he, just to kind of segue and deflect the whole thing, and she just fronted him in front of his boss. He comes to me, "Well, Steve, it's the parents. That's what I say, it's the parents." Yeah, it's the parents. Because a lot of these people at that time, I would hear the news, it was somebody 25, 35, 40, 30 something to shoot them. Now all you hear is 15, 16, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 16, 18, 14, 16. That's all you hear. And I'm saying, they got an army of people. You can't even get these some guys to join the army. And they're 18. Go join the army. "Oh no, I don't want to die." Really? But you playing a death wish game out here on these streets.
You know what? I said this a long time ago. If we got all our, I'm gonna say just all the wealthy people in the world, like say if we just got all the billionaires, they wouldn't have to be the millionaires. The billionaires got money to burn, right?
Right.
And they did all banded together and did a program where, if you, like I say, see something, say something, right? And you got an award, you got a whole new life, right? A whole new life if you turn in a murder, right? It would stop that stuff ASAP. You see? Because then, it would be like one of those movies then, right? Because everybody would be, they wouldn't care who it was in their house. Okay, now, like they had, like, then they still do, I guess, have that witness protection plan, a program for, high crime situations. And so if you had all the billionaires put together a plan similar to that, just for, for the masses, see something, say something, and, you could testify and get a whole new life, okay? For that would stop it, because the criminals would be petrified, okay? Because everybody, they wouldn't be able to trust anybody. That's the bottom line. The criminals wouldn't be able to trust anybody, not the people who are harboring them today, because they know that those people, I can get a whole new life, including accommodations and a job or whatever, whatever they need to be able to sustain themselves somewhere else where they wouldn't have no retaliation, from anybody. That would change the landscape of the United States of America, period.
So you said,
you know what? I wish that would work. My son was 16 and he wanted to be in the street so bad. He had mother, father, real strict. We didn't play that. 16, he wanted to sneak out the window, hang with his friends because they didn't have no parenting.
Mm-hmm.
So he thought grass was green on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So he started hanging with them and sneaking out the window and stuff. So we put him in Lincoln Challenge so he can get his diploma.
Mm-hmm.
He was good for a minute. He was working at children, but got influenced by his friends. Man, you doing that? He followed them. Now, me and my husband real strict. So he go hang with the wrong people. So that's what I'm trying to say. It ain't always parenting. It's the kids having a will. And if you're going to let that come in your house, or you're going to say, take it to the street. And that was my choice. Take it to the
Mm-hmm.
street. You ain't bringing this stuff up in my house. You ain't getting high in my
Mm-hmm.
house. You ain't doing none of that. So
Mm-hmm.
fast forward, I was selling my house on Moody, and I took custody of his kids. He lost his kids. I'm taking custody. We get a package at the door. My daughter at my house, waiting for us to sell the house. It's a package at the door. My son had drugs sent through the UPS mail to my address. Mind you, nobody was living there. My daughter was just watching the house. She took the package in the house. She seen what it was. We called the police.
Mm-hmm.
Police told us, hold it there. We'll come and get it. Man, meantime, while she waiting for him to come in, the guy come for the package.
Mm.
The cartel. Okay? Cartel come for the package. So my daughter didn't open the door. And they said, we know the package came here through UPS. So the UPS was in on it too. Whole bunch of people in on it. So then police finally come. They waiting. They're like, we're gonna put a sting. Want us to be in the house. Why they do the damn sting? Like, okay, you had 1 block and 1 block. Why they come blow up the house or shoot up the house? What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about protected custody? They don't do that. So in the
Mm-hmm.
meantime, they didn't come back. We gave them the whatever it was in that package. And when it came time for me to sell my house, I had to get somebody that didn't know nothing was going on to sell my house, to clean my house up, to sell my house because we had a hit out on us because of my son. And we had to go hide it. Police didn't do nothing. We kept calling detective, what's going on? Would never answer the damn phone. Never knew what happened to the package. We had to go and hide it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't necessarily the parent. The kids could do some shit.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you to the parents' door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. I mean, well, just now I live on Walton, and the street 1 block south of me, I think it's Ohio. This happened maybe about 3 years ago. There was some parents out in the yard cleaning their yard. It was summer day, and one of my friends that lives on Rice, I just happened to be talking to her one day, and she asked me, did I hear about the shooting? And I said, well, no. Well, it was a similar situation to what you're talking about. The son had whatever affiliations, okay? And they were looking for him, and they couldn't find him. And his mother and father and sister would out mowing the grass and trimming the flowers, and they came past there and murdered the father and the sister. Okay, the father and the sister right there, because they couldn't get the son. Okay, and they and the parents, from my friend, my understanding was they had come by the house asking the parents where was he, and they told that they didn't know. And so I don't know what else they told the parents, but they were just out there mowing the grass, and they came and murdered the actually it was a father and a son, another son. Yeah, because she said that the mother was screaming, they killed my good son. They killed my good son. You see, so those kind of situations, yeah, always, from that, but what I was talking about, like all the billionaires putting together a program like that would, whatever the situation, I mean, because there's enough money in this world that can pay for anything, it reminds me just the other day, the commander was saying at the police station how we have to, yeah, the police are fine, but we got to help ourselves too, just talking about this before the 4th of July, right? He was just talking about the DNC coming to town, and the police are going to be somewhere else, because of that, that we need to battle down our hatches and and everything, just to start phone chains and all kind of stuff in the communities to with our neighbors to make sure nobody does anything, within, our blocks or our eyesight or whatever, how we have to band together to at least alert each other and keep each other from harm, or keep our cars from getting stolen, our houses broken into, just stuff like um that are within our control, some of it, yeah, we're gonna need the police and stuff escalate. But if I saw somebody, and well, it happened over here on my block, the neighbor just happened to get up in the middle of the night and saw somebody breaking in one of the neighbor's car. And what she did was she flashed her ring thing, made the alarm go off on it, and they and then she called the neighbor, and everything. The police stopped the guys right away. The guys still got away, but they didn't take her car.
That's part of where I started. That we got to stop killing, and in order to stop it, we are the people that have to do it, because these murderers, they living on these blocks. They ain't living down. They living in these townhouses, these penthouses. They own the block, and they talk. People know who these people are. And you can't tell me people don't know, because it's too many of them.
Oh, you see
1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people shot, whatever the heck it is, 1,000 people. You can't tell me it's the same murderer, some what they call them people, mass murderers.
Right.
Running around killing 1,000 people every year. It's the same person. It ain't the same person.
Right.
In some cases, they doing it.
Right.
But in other words, it's different people. These people are out here. We know who they are. But we ain't saying nothing until something happened to them. And my baby, my won't. Yeah, please. Where were you when somebody else was in that situation? And that person did that you harbor. They did it. But my point, it's gonna have to take what you just said. Everybody don't have people's number on the block. They don't share numbers anymore. I don't trust them. I don't do this. You gotta trust somebody at some point, because the way I see it, when you're on the block and you don't communicate with nobody on the block, don't want to communicate with them, don't want to talk to them, don't want to share numbers, you're the problem. I don't care how isolated you say you want to be, how private you want to be. You're the problem, because you're doing something that you obviously don't want nobody else to know about. And some people say, well, I just don't want to be I don't want to be friends with people, because then you open the door for them to start doing. Well, the door open already, because you live in a big city. You want to live like a hermit, take your ass out in the forest somewhere. I mean, that's the best thing to do. But you ain't gonna live in no neighborhood with people and not be seen and acknowledged and see them. It takes communication. And what you said made a lot of sense. She saved that person's car. She made the call to say, hey, somebody's messing with your car. Somebody's doing something. That kind of stuff deters a lot of crime, because criminals ain't gonna go where people are vigilant, where people are working together against them. They're gonna go with the path of least resistance. That's how they always get down. They ain't gonna go where the challenge is, where it's more work, or I might get caught, or I might get hurt, they ain't even trying to do all that. So, for people just to stay in a community and not know who their neighbor is, or not care who their neighbor is, I'm gonna tell you, I got an incident right now. And this has been going on for a couple years now. Black lady been living on the block for years. She got some grandkids. Hispanic people build a house next to her. The kids throw the ball over the fence. The Hispanic people call the police. Oh, the ball is in our yard. The ball, come get the ball. Kids throwing the ball. Okay, we get it. I asked the police. Well, the police called me and they said, Steve, can you work this out? Because I said, yeah, well, that's one of our blocks. I know who these people are. They said, can you work it out? Because they keep calling us. They call us because the dog is tied to the fence. They share the fence. It's a property line, idiot. I mean, come on. If they damage your property, you sue them, or you ask them to pay you, or if they don't pay you, you sue them. But to call the police because the dog is tied to the other side of the fence that you share, it's stupidity. But the cops told me, can you work this out, get this kind of knocked down? I said, yeah, let me talk to them. I know both of the parties, but I don't know the Hispanic people like that. They didn't want to talk when we came to their door. They didn't want to be part of, of the block. But they could sure call the police for stupid stuff, The cops literally told me, they said, look, Steve, we get paid one way or another. We're gonna come out, but it's kind of stupid. They're calling us for stupid. And I said, yeah, I admit, I agree. We got a lot of other things happening in this precinct, in this district, in this ward, and that you could be doing. So I told the black lady, I said, look, we got to figure out something where everybody's, being treated right, fairly. I said, who's the block? Well, I said, I already know you don't have a block club president because the lady is up in age and she told me I don't want to do it anymore. I'm old. I'm tired. I'm hoping somebody else take it. So I told the lady that keeps having the police call her. I'm like, why don't you take it on? And you set the pace. She goes, well, ain't nobody gonna vote for me. Well, guess what? When you the king and you the landlord, you the lord of the land. Ain't nobody got shit to say. You set the pace. And they gonna have to follow. If they don't follow, then they gonna have to fit in how they get in too. Yeah, it could be the idea, well, nobody's gonna follow me. Well, somebody gonna follow. Because once you start setting certain rules, and then you can't set the rules and not abide by them. That's the other part I told you go make up some block club rules. You gotta abide by them. You can't be Donald Trump now. You can't be that stupid. I'm saying if you want to get rid of some of the heat, let's bring the people to the table. And I even told her, I said, let's do this. I'm willing to help you develop it. And then she thought about it. She said, yeah, you're right. I should do that. Yeah, because people ain't gonna come together until you force them together or until they have a problem. When people got a problem, they got their hands out like cups. But when everybody else got a problem, they don't want to help. But as soon as they got one, yeah, hear you. So I told her, let's do it like that. Now she's kind of getting the idea. She went to the alderman. They laughed at her. The black lady went to the alderman's office. I'm gonna say the name, Chris Taliaferro, went to his office, and the chief of staff laughed at the lady when she said, "Who are you?" And she told her name. She said, "Oh, let me take a picture with you, because you famous around here." Really? Y'all really talking about me like that in this office? But you ain't reaching out to try to get this situation handled. You want to make a mockery of me when I come to reach out for help, and you want to say, let's take a picture with me? Really? This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Everybody know something. Everybody know what the heck going on. It's just how much are you willing to help? And a lot of times, everybody trying to get in their own little corner. Look, even in Galewood, we had a meeting in Galewood. We had about 30, 40 people come out on them? Yeah, about 30 people came out. Me alone, I gave 30 people information. I can't say I had at least 20, 25% of the people that I reached out to came out, but the people that's involved with the Galewood Montclair organization, there's about 10 of us. Let me see. 2, 4, there's about 8 of us. Shoot, everybody, each one of them should have had 30 people come out. At least gave information to 30 people and got at least 20, 25% of them to come out, which means 7 people, 7 people should have been coming out from each. 7 times, what I say, 8 of us. So we should have had easily 40, 49 people? Yeah. 50 people. We were still short 20 people. We only had 30. So my point again. It didn't last long. It didn't last long. We was on point on time. Hour and a half went on because we had ended the meeting at the right time, at the tick of the top. But my point to that is, I gave flyers to new neighbors. I gave flyers to neighbors been on the block 30, 25 years. None of them some bitches come out. But they be the first ones talking, oh my God, we never had this in our neighborhood. Yeah, really? Really? Okay. You tell me where it's happening at then and why. And my point to it is, it ain't just in totally exclusive Black communities, totally exclusive white communities, totally exclusive Hispanic. This crap happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. Everybody, and you can't say, oh, I had something to do. No, the meeting started 6:30 to 8:30 on a Tuesday. I don't think everybody go to Bible study on Tuesday. Do they, Rev? I mean, Bible studies on Mondays too. Matter of fact, you want to go to Bible study, we was in the church. Could have had it right there. So, I don't know. I just think we ain't going to get to the bottom of all this, because the next level of humans that we have reproduced and produced to this world, they care even less than the ones that came before them. Or they're afraid even more than the ones that came before them. And they're afraid for the wrong reasons. That's the crazy part. I kind of get Miss Drummond at 102 saying that she's afraid of guns, because that's something that she's always been afraid of. It's like somebody that's afraid of needles, or somebody afraid of getting shot. They were afraid since they were kids. That's just who you are. That don't mean they might not go out there and punch somebody in their throat if they have to. They could be the toughest person in the world and still be afraid of needles. But I get that with her about the guns. It just kind of shocked me, because I'm like, at 102, why would you be afraid of anything? You done seen, you done, and God forbid you don't live any longer, but I pray to God that you do. But why should anything fear you? Why should you be afraid of anything at that age? But I get it. I totally get what she was saying. And what was strange about it, the very next day, and I talked to her for an hour during the 4th of July, it was probably 10 o'clock at night. We were talking, the fireworks going off and everything on her end and my end. And the very next day, I was with Congressman Davis. He brought up Miss Drummond. He says, oh, Miss Lillian Drummond, most fearless person I know. That woman not afraid of anything. I'm like, hey, hold on a minute. Latest is out. She just told me from her own mouth 12 hours ago. She is afraid of something. I said the same thing. She ain't afraid of nothing. But, I get it. Fear trumps, or I shouldn't say that word. Fear takes over almost anything. It doesn't matter what age you are. That's the sad thing. We gotta figure out who's gonna be the brave one. Who's gonna be the person that's gonna say, nah, we ain't doing this like this no more. No, that's not good. No, that's not right. No, we're not having that. And I get it. Everybody feels that they're all alone. I'm alone. If I say it, ain't nobody gonna back me up. Ain't nobody gonna. Yeah, but if you don't say it, you get picked off because you already alone. You already let people know you're alone. You gotta have a sense of community, man. You gotta have somebody there to say, you know what, I care. I hope you care like I care just a little bit. And if we all care a little bit, we can make something happen. Like Tiny always say, it's good to be around like-minded people. But guess what? I like to find them minded people and be amongst them, because we need some. We need as many as we can get. Many as we can get. Cause this ain't working out, man. It's just not working out. Too many murders. It was somebody got shot up. It was in Little Italy. 6 people got shot over there. I know it wasn't exactly Italy, but they said Little Italy. But I don't know why they call it Little Italy, but they probably meant the village. They probably, I don't know if it was It might have been Taylor Street because that's Little Italy, but I thought a lot of black people, but I'm like,
It was
it
at
might have
those
been.
projects over there.
They call it the Village.
No, I don't know what those old projects over there in that area.
They call it the Village, but the crazy
That's what they
part,
call it. Okay.
yeah, they said Little Italy. I'm like, yeah, the Village. And then if you come down a little bit further, they call the other place they call it Germ City. Yeah. Between Western and Damon, is it? No, right up in there, right? And the other side of Roosevelt. South. They call that Germ City. I don't know back in the day what was going on. That's true. Yeah. The Village, Little Italy, Germ City, all that right up and down Roosevelt, from Western all the way down to Halsted. But
pretty much redeveloped. You see a lot of empty fields over there, recreation fields.
Okay.
Now they build on all that soccer and corporations going up. So not much over there as far as
Right. No, I just got word. Rev said Wednesday night's Bible study at 7:30. So there you go. Wednesday nights. We try to make it so people can meet. But somebody did ask me about, why don't you have it meeting on Zoom? I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, but we need to see you first. We need to see if you can feel the angst, feel the vibrato that we're trying to present, feel the pain and the urgency that we need to have about our blocks and about our community being better. You know, yeah, you can do it from Zoom, you can do it from that, but my problem is if you're on Zoom, when we really need you to show up and show out, you ain't gonna be there. You're gonna be one of them, what they call them, internet heroes or whatever, internet tough guys, TV tough guys they call them or whatever. You just ain't gonna show up for nothing, but you'll be in the background. Oh yeah, I see you. I zoomed in. Yeah, okay, whatever. You got a lot to say, but you ain't doing nothing. And then the other part is, you know, unless you contributed some big money, we need bodies. Bodies over money in a lot of cases are more influential. Other than what Chris was talking about, because she's talking about getting billionaires to fund this project. I'm kind of with her on that, but I'm like, why are we going to the billionaires? Why not just the millionaires? Shoot, how about a couple thousandaires? You know, they could pitch in too.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we all could pitch in, but I'm just saying, you know, they have the readily available funds. But I mean, to start something like that could be a U.S. wide program that start or something. But somebody's got to start it, right?
Right.
And they have the most, like I say, money to adopt the programs per se. And and then even because like even with and I'm just going to use this as an example with foundations, right? And you have these foundations that basically are because all the big money people have them, right? And so but they normally say they do these RFPs for nonprofits to be able to obtain this, I guess to break it down in smaller chunks, right? So instead of it being one gigantic fund, they segment it out to, to different organizations or different cities or whatever the deal is. And then to be able to manage it, to manage it so then it can be accessed. And
why would they want to give this money up? What's the benefit to them other than a tax break? What is it?
It's a humanitarian thing. One thing about like I say, foundations, I'll use that word. They do humanitarian things all over the world, water, whatever. I was this was just last week, but I had already heard this before that because they really are trying to pass this in Washington that gun violence is is a what do they call it? Like an epidemic. Okay. Epidemic, just like any other, water, heat, whatever. It's an epidemic. And so they're trying to pass that. So then that way it'll be considered that, epidemic. Okay. So back to foundations and and the type of programs or things that they advocate, and work with, that would be their buy-in or their reward. They want to help. Simple as that. And yeah, they do get kudos and all that other stuff, and for donating their money and stuff. But they do it all the time. Okay. And I don't it's just something, like I say, I lost my grandson to gun violence, so it's something I've been thinking about for many years now, as hey, how does this stop? And there's no one reason, because it all starts in some place that's got a roof on it, right? And somebody with a gun, where they are, we don't know. Who sees them, we don't know. Who don't tell, we don't know. It's all those variations. And but to have something in place where there was, really like well, I'm getting ready to use the old West, right? Remember the reward, right? And they still have programs like that around now, where, of course, when dire situations happen, and then they say, okay, there's a reward of XYZ, if you turn this person in, and things like that. And, but something like that would just up the ante to make people think either A, I ain't gonna be involved in this, okay, which is the right choice, right? Or B, hey, I'm gonna turn this person in because it's the right thing to do. We see, I think just recently, I think the young man that shot that cop, his mama turned him in. You see, so, that does happen. It happens all the time that a parent or a loved one, we don't always hear about it because it's not like a big case like those cases and things. And remember where Jim lives on Central. This was a few years ago. Somebody shot a boy on a bike, and right in the back of his house and stuff. He walks out there, the boy's dead. And he said, there was the rowdy house on the other side of the alley, where it was always problem. And sure enough, a mom that lived in that building turned her son in because he was the one that killed that young man. Right. So parents do it every day. We, or guardians or whoever they are, we don't hear about it every day, but it does happen. And so, but if there was a little more, because all this morals and stuff, that's that stuff is, a lot of people don't even know what that means. Okay. The people that even supposed to know what it means don't know what it means. Okay. Because they out here scraping and lying and conniving and whatever, get their way. These are adults acting like spoiled brats, right? And so now you got the same situation, but now it's causing people's lives. Well, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't gonna say nothing. Everybody that heard somebody say something stupid, right? We see it on a movie. I watch a lot of police dramas, and the police knocking on somebody. Look, that ain't none of my business. I ain't saying nothing, or whatever. Steve was just talking about the people not wanting to share phone numbers. I want nobody to have my, but like Hope Church now, they have that phone tree thing, right? you know, they text you, I guess, you know, because you go to the faith-based meeting and then you sign up for the meeting and your phone number goes into a secure system. Don't nobody have your phone number. But then
Right.
they started this you know, this system. Like, I mean, everybody, I don't know if, you know, we all get um text messages, at least I do, from the faith base. I get text messages from not the Leaders Network, but you know, several other organizations. They have some kind of system that these phone numbers go in. I can't see nobody else's phone number. You see, and so, but Hope just started this one a few months ago, where now, you know, so when it sends you the text, it asks you, do you want to opt in so you can get messages about what's going on in Austin, right? You could say yes or you could say no. And
Is
so I
that from
said, yeah.
is that from a text or email?
This is a text.
Oh, okay.
And so then I said yes. Okay. So now I get a text to say, hey, the food pantry date is this, or guess what? We ain't open today. Gonna be open on Thursday because it's the 4th of July. I get a text saying, you know, we're giving out free diapers. You know, if you know anybody, you know, or I get a text, oh, the police commander's gonna be at the church, you know, talking about crime, you know, at XYZ time. So like a you know, so, and that's in a secure system. I can't see nobody else's number, you know, and they can't see mine. And so to just different things that as a community, you know, we could advocate for. Hey, guess what? I want to know. So I say, yep, yep, send me a text message, okay, and everything. And but somebody else, you know, may say no. But Hope Church, you know, if anybody wants, you know, can just call them, because, you know, I don't know how the system works or anything. I know I was, you know, I sign up when, you know, when you go to the meetings, they have you sign up on this computer, on this
The other part of
tablet.
the other part of all that is I tell anybody. I mean, you give somebody your number, it ain't that hard to block them. Just block them if
Right.
you don't want to be bothered with them. You
Right.
ain't got any. Block them for they go with another. You block them, they gonna get tired before you do. So I'm like, it ain't like the old days where your phone went right to your house.
Right.
It was landline. Now, don't get me wrong. You do need to make sure your phone is not tied to the locator, because when you're sending messages and pictures and all that, they can always tell where it came from if you don't have your phone locators turned off. That's something everybody needs to do. But yeah, I mean, who cares about somebody giving your phone number? Because if they do call it. I ain't gotta talk to your ass. You want to text me? I ain't gotta read this crap. So what? Even if I do read it, you don't know. We ain't communicating. Blocked. Whatever. You know. I mean, what's the detriment behind somebody having your number? I don't get it, other than bothering you. But you bother them. Then the other side of it is bother them back. You gonna call me and I already told you I won't be bothered? Oh, I'm gonna show you how this gonna work. I'm gonna give your number to about 15 other people to make sure they bother you. It'll stop. You trust me. There's ways around all this. I was with Barry the other day, and Barry said something. He's like, man, you know, don't get all wound up on nothing. I said, you're right. I don't care about getting wound up. I said, push on the shove, I push too. You know, I ain't got no problem pushing and shove.
Mm-hmm.
If you push and shove, I'm gonna push and shove too. I mean, we can do this. We can do this all day, all night. What you want to do? But I ain't trying to be the initiator, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no, again, the problems are on the blocks, man. It's just, again, these young people. How is that second young man that was that killed the police, that was along with the boy that killed the policeman? How is he able to be you know, out there aloof, hiding, incognito for 7 days? Everybody seeing his face on TV, and then he can't just pop up at some place and be like, oh, can I stay out here for a few days? Really? Who's gonna fall for that? Something ain't right. You ain't never done this before. Why are you doing it? So it's hard for a young person to commit these crimes and be, what do you call it? What do they call it when you hide them out? That's the word they use for it. But you know, how can this be? You hide young people out. And you know they out here doing this stupidness. Yeah, okay. Are you afraid that they're gonna shoot you? That's an even bigger reason to tell. Get them away from you. Just car away from me. I'm afraid. Like Miss Drummond said, I'm afraid of guns. First thing I'm gonna do is get the guns away from me. Who I gotta tell? You know?
Was the word fugitive?
Yeah. They're fugitives, right. That's the word. They're out there on the lam. And there ain't no way. A young person can't get a hotel. They don't have a credit card. They don't have the cash. Even if they do have the cash, where are you going to spend it at? Where is somebody going to let you stay in a hotel? It's just not possible. So you know they with somebody they know.
Have they caught that other young man and killed? The one was turned in by his mother.
They found the other young man out south, somewhere, from what I understand. Because, yeah, that's what I heard. He was out south with somebody out south. And I'm saying, how did that person out south let this person come out and do this?
Well, when I talked to the police, they told me that they knew who he was and where he was. And I was trying to get them to get him before the funeral. You know, I said it would ease the minds of the family. And they said, we gonna get him ready. We gonna get him. And they did.
Well,
They did.
I don't know. I think we want things to be swift and punitive. You know, when things happen like this, and when they should be swift on these things, because people are very uneasy. There's a lot of anxiety. I mean, the person that I talked to that was the relative of the people that got gunned down in their own house, 6 a.m, baby, child, teenager, old person, grandmama, 6, 7 people got shot in the house because these clowns came to their door. That young, well, he ain't a young man, he's 60 something. That's relative. He said, Steve, how do we live with this every year now? He says, every year on the 4th of July, what do we think about? This is what we think about. The village, our village was gunned down. You know, he put it in those terms. He said, you know, they talk about it takes a village, but our village was gunned down in their own home. So, you know, I'm just saying, we got to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, each year it's the same thing. I remember speaking about it over 30 some years ago, July and also Halloween, you know, and it's the same thing. It's just a sad commentary.
Well,
I'm
gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Sharon. This conversation, in my opinion, has generated more questions for me than answers, and I don't want to hog the conversation or anything, but I do have one question. I do have one question that I wanted to ask, and I think I heard someone say, it may have been you, Steve, that the police have put together some kind of plan because the DNC is coming to Chicago, I guess next month, and they suggested
they'll release they'll release the map on the 25th.
Okay, and it sounds to me like they're suggesting that the communities get together and quote unquote police their own communities because the resources are going to be most of the police resources are going to be over the DNC invasion into our city. And I would like to know what they, what they intend to do about policing the rest of the city, and not just what's going to be centered around DNC during that time. I understand, that we have some accountability for our own communities, but they still have accountability for doing their job. And so I'd like to know what plans they have in place for addressing not just the DNC, but the citizens of the streets of Chicago, the communities in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Have they come up with any kind of plan to work with community groups or anything? Well,
I can tell you, this is Reverend Jakes,
okay,
with Congressman Davis' office. There's been at least 2 major meetings, one with the 27th Ward residents around the stadium. And then from that, they met with the ministers. And those are the questions that we brought up. We brought up questions about...
Yeah, but this, you know what, Reverend, and I don't mean to step on what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
I'm just reporting.
And I appreciate you trying
I'm just
to...
reporting.
But that's one ward in the entire city. And this is July. We've known that we've known that the convention is coming to Chicago for years now.
I'm just giving a report that they did meet, and those were many of the questions. It was for 2 hours over at Malcolm X, and many of those questions were addressed. And
well, how is that information being disseminated to the communities? I don't know anything about it. Does anybody else on the Zoom call know anything about it?
Let me say this.
About what this information is, or what this plan is? Well, how these questions were answered?
Let me ask you this. What was the plan in '96 when we had the convention? Was there a plan that anybody know of? Because only reason I'm saying that is I've reached out to the deputy chief over Area 4, Arnaldo Gutierrez. He said, we're just getting ready for the DNC. I'm like, okay, and what's your point? It's the DNC. We've had 2 of those here before. Yeah, one of them they busted your head because of the war. We get that. The one in '96, it wasn't no big deal. We went through whatever. And then he said, well, we got some other things we're looking at right now that we have to be aware of. Okay, what are those other things? Because if anybody knows, the '90s was more violent than what we're encountering now. If you want to talk about street violence, the '90s have the statistics on the books. But when it comes to murders and crime, you don't want to see any of that. So what we hear and see daily and weekly, it just looks like it's a lie, and it is. It really is. But the '90s statistically had, and that's when the last DNC was here. So I'm just trying to figure out what issue do we have other than we do got a lot of long rifles on the streets. We got a lot of guys out here with switches, which shoot multiple, because I brought that to his attention, multiple rounds, over 100 rounds rapidly. And I'm like, so, what do we really need to be aware of outside of those things?
Well,
I think it's unfortunate. That they're putting a lot of their resources
over the
because the DNC is going to have a national stage, and the press is going to be looking at Chicago when it comes to the DNC.
Wait, Rev, hold on. Say it again, Sharon.
No, I was saying, it looks to me like they're putting a lot of their resources towards this DNC because it's going to be on a national and an international stage. Chicago's going to be on a national, international stage, and they want to put their best face forward. But we have an epidemic in our city of killings. And that should be taking the forefront, not just what's coming to the city because it's going to have a worldwide platform. but you know, we have an epidemic of killings in our city. And I just, you know, I have all the respect in the world for Chicago police, for 15th district, for Alderman, for Congressman Danny Davis. But, you know, we have an epidemic of killings in our city, and the police need to be working more closely with the citizens in this city to stop these killings and to protect the citizens of this city. And you know, it just seems to me like, you know, you have this particular individual, and this is just an example, and so you want to put some lipstick on this person so they look good for this particular point in time. The DNC looks good for this particular point in time, but we, you know, when this person leaves or this institution leaves the DNC, we still have to live here.
Well,
we still have to live here. So don't put on a good face and don't put on a good front protecting the DNC and leave your citizens vulnerable during that time, and not address the issues that are going to be ongoing after the DNC leaves.
Right.
May I give my point? My point is that we have an opportunity to invite those individuals from the police department, especially Brooks, who's the director, into our ward or into our community. And there we can then address those questions. We have time and opportunity to do that. And I'll be glad to give you that information tomorrow.
But Reverend Jakes, we're at the 9th hour.
No, we're not.
Why are we having this conversation today? This should have been done years. They've known they were going to hold this in Chicago for years now.
I'm giving a solution to your question. And my point is that we can call tomorrow, ask for a meeting for this organization that we can ask the questions and then get an address to the issues. That's all I'm saying.
And let me answer with two answers. One of the reasons, and it just dawned on me, and I have been hearing this over and over again from law enforcement, and Sharon, you are absolutely right. The problem is we have an epidemic. The problem is a lot of this stuff is not being taken care of in an expedient and a preventive manner. And the reason is the police are short. They short like 5,000 to 6,000 people. That's the difference between the DNC. That's what it is. The difference between the DNC now and the DNC in the 90s, when we had an epidemic of murders and shootings and guns and gangs and drug epidemic in the 90s, where it was way more than what it is now, believe it or not. But they're short. I forgot. That's the one thing. And the other thing I wanted to say was, that was mainly it, that they're short. Oh, shot spotters. That's why they don't want to that's why the mayor don't want to get rid of shot spotters until after the DNC, because he knows that they're short 5,000 to 6,000 people from the police department. And he's thinking the shot spotters don't help, but to me, shot spotter is after the fact. As you can pull the gun and shot the gun and release the bullet, the shot spotter hears it. But they don't hear you when you say, hey, stop this guy before you do this, or stop this person. So I need help. The shot spotter don't do that. So I'm still trying to figure out, shot spotter. You know what? Eddie Johnson came to that meeting, former superintendent, and that we had in Gilwood Montclair, and he said, shot spotter. This is the only thing that he sold me on, really. The shot spotter gets the information deployed to the police right away, opposed to you calling 911. What did they have on? How tall are they? What color were their shoes? Did they go left or right? And there was left north and was right south. All these questions they ask you. Meanwhile, the person skipping down the street with some roses in their hand, and nothing happens. But he did say it allows the police to come and they get it right away without going through 911. Shot spot. That's why the mayor wants to wait. He wants a gun. He wants to say that $9 million and do what? I don't know with it, but hey, that's the other thing. Yeah, those are the two things. You are right, Sharon. There is some concern to be. The concern is we got 5,000 to 6,000 police short, and if we short, we short. No comments, no rebuttals, no nothing to that. Anybody?
You know, I just can't see them leaving the neighborhoods uncovered. My hope is that they don't want to tip their hand and let the criminals know what they have planned during this time. I'm truly hoping they're not just abandoning us like that. So, you know, I know it's been brought up and they've talked about it, but what their action plan is, I don't know. But I'm hoping that they have some action plan that will not lead us at the disposal of criminals.
Somebody said the neighborhood would not be unmanned. Someone also said that I don't know what was it. Somebody said on the chat that ShotSpotter is a major tool that helps the city. Yeah. What else is there? There still will be officers patrolling the neighborhoods. Yeah, that's true. But I have heard from this. What I've heard about the police being short came from the police, and I've heard that in some districts they only got 2 or 3 patrol cars. I'm like, how you got 3 patrol cars for a whole district? They said certain district was just that short. But hey, and the other thing is, you know, a lot of these police officers, they hate having to work all these long extra hours and days and things. But they'll do it, you know, they'll be out there. They'll do it. They'll get rid of their furlough days and they'll be out there. As short as we may be, you know, they're gonna be there. That I do know. But that's the other thing. No one wants to be a policeman anymore. How come it's so hot? For the first time, I met a young black police officer out of the 25th district. I almost fell out of my shoes when I met him. And Ella, you was there. Remember we met Officer Little? He couldn't have been more than 24 years old, right?
Yeah.
Get that. The guy said he had just graduated, about 5 years ago? 3, 4 years ago? He said, I went to high school. I was like, what? And he working in 25th district. That just, I couldn't believe it. I said, man, that's good. That's a good thing. So we just got to get more people, man. And we got to encourage more people to be police officers. They're making good money, you know. You got a good pension.
Well, you know, I just don't want anybody to become a police officer. Because, you know, when they had that incident at the place with Xavier and everybody, there was a police officer there who was very nasty. He was a Chinese or Asian man. He was very nasty. Now, see, you can hire whoever you want to hire, but you don't want to hire somebody like him. Because I did not like him at all, because he looked like he's the type that if I said anything, he'd shoot me on the spot, because he was very nasty.
Well,
and I didn't get his name.
You got those two. I've talked to some officers I know. They said one of the biggest problems is that they're hiring anybody, and the biggest problem with it is they're throwing them on that night shift. And they said they throw all the new anybody's on the night shift, and all of the veterans are working the day shift. He said it's a formula for disaster. He said it's just because they don't know. They don't have anybody in there that say, hey, what you doing? Slow that down. Wait, don't do that. Don't do this. And, you know, it is what it is. In 2020, during the George Floyd, CPD had plans, but the department is short. Yeah, you know. But, you know, man, it's a bit of a issue that we all need to be aware of. But it goes back again to what I'm saying. We have to start, you know, I said this to the former Deputy Chief Ernest Cato. I said, you know, policing is one thing, but crime is everybody's business. And when I say that, when you see it, You need to be nosy about it. Because it could be you next. It's part of you, what you need to understand and know. Yeah, you don't want to be no vigilante. You don't want to be nobody jumping out there. Hey, wait, But you got to be aware. You got to know how to deal with certain situations. You don't want that stuff to just start festering. Once you let one little incident get away in your neighborhood, it's gonna be the next, and then more and more. As soon as you put a nip, you nip it. Trust me, criminals get the picture. They get the picture. They understand. They ain't having this over here, so don't do this. We ain't doing this right here. And that's how we gotta be. We gotta start block by block, man. I've been talking about this for years. And if I don't do nothing else, in my life, I'm gonna definitely make sure that we do things. I'm gonna definitely make sure that we do something and make some real positive impact on some blocks, And we're gonna monitor it and see how they turn out. Blocks always turn sour for two reasons. One, somebody in the family disappears. Okay? Somebody in the family, two reasons the blocks usually turn back. Somebody in the family dies or disappears, and then the people that come up, they just run amok. And then nobody can reel them in because everybody on the block scared to say something because that's Mr. Such son. That's all that. No, that's one of the reasons. Or from the beginning, the whole clan, the parents started the kids off doing the stupid stuff on the block. And that's how it perpetuates. Another example, the Ellis family on Austin. They've been burned out for 2 years. They still hanging around that burned out shell of a place. They've been there since 1974. They were the biggest culprits of keeping up stuff on Austin Boulevard and mainly in the alley. At least they would keep it in the alley for 35 years. I've known them over there. And but just a week or two ago, white guy got shot in the leg 2 doors down from there. You know what I'm saying? How did white guy get shot on the Chicago side of Austin? In the leg. And why in the leg? And why was he shot 2 doors over from the Ellis family? I'm still trying to figure that one out. Ain't nobody told me that answer. Other than I got the report from the police. White male shot in the leg, 14/30/25, Austin. And I'm like, I know exactly where that's at. But again, if it's been a history of a family doing it, that's one thing. Then all of a sudden, it does become very pertinent and prevalent when somebody passes away in that family that used to control it, keep it under wraps. But, all the time, you can't be held hostage by no family on the block. That's my thing. You can't be held hostage by a bunch of see, oddly enough, I've been neighbors to that family, the Ellises, for over about 34, 35 years. I've tried my best to subdue them and calm them down and bring all that craziness in. I've even gone to their relatives that's the pastor and said, hey, you need to reel them in and tell them to stop. And he told me, don't listen to me, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do to them, Steve, because they don't listen. I said, okay. If I have to put some buck in them, they're going to get some. But you're going to be the one doing the funeral. I'm just going to tell you. But again, they kind of mind me. I caught one of them years ago. Oh, man, it was 25, 30 years ago. I caught one of them breaking in the car about 1 in the morning. And I pulled up on him. I said, hey, that ain't happening, bro. Oh, man, you going to tell me? That cell phone said, just come out. I had done my first cell phone. It was like 92, 93. And I said, man, I'm about to call them people right now. Unless you put whatever you got back in that car, make sure everything's secure. And I say, furthermore, we ain't doing this right here, bro. Look straight ahead. That's Oak Park. Go over there and do that. See how far you get with that. We ain't robbing and stealing over here. Go over there and do that. We ain't doing this in my neighborhood. Your neighborhood. Our neighborhood. We ain't doing it. And he put it back in the car by 1 in the morning. I had no gun on him or none of that. And he moseyed on about what he had to do. I said, man, don't have me hearing about none of this happening over here, because we're going to have problems. But here we go. Third, we on like, let me see, first, second, third. we're on the third generation of the Ellises. And unfortunately, over the 30-some years, about 6 or 7 of them been shot and killed, over that time. And it was a gang of them. You know Ella, you know them. I don't even know how you know them. They 5-6 blocks away from you.
Because they used to come to the gym all the time.
Oh, okay. Well,
all of them.
Yeah. Well, Bubblicious got killed.
Right.
I think Hassan got killed. Hold on. I don't know why that's in it. But nevertheless, yeah, they're shooting fireworks. What's going on? Somebody out there popping them off. They're a few days late, ain't they?
Yeah.
They're a few days late. You hear it too?
Yeah, I hear it. Sound like it's coming from the Latino house.
Yeah.
The one that bought Hazel's house.
Yeah, when Cinco de Mayo over, Juneteenth too, and Independence, Weddle Day too, is what they call it. 4th of July. They need to calm all that down. Because you know what? It's been real calm this year. If y'all notice, usually June, you hear all that fireworks. Because you're like, oh man, what are they doing? Oh, July coming up real soon. I ain't hear a lot of fireworks. I'm kind of south end of Austin, middle of Austin, north end. I ain't hear none of that until later that day. I really didn't hear, but somebody said that they were giving out fines and tickets if you were in front of your house. You getting a ticket at your house if they're in front of your house doing it. And it better not be you, and it better not be somebody in front of your house, because they're gonna relate it to you.
Well, I heard fireworks went up, cigarettes went up, and gas went up in Indiana.
Right.
Many of the single spots, for cigarettes and squares,
right,
they've been out. They've been out because they don't want to spend that money.
Right.
Whoever buying it and flying it.
Well, you just tied 3 things together. Because people go to Indiana to get cheap gas and get a case of cigarettes so they can shoot them to fire their fireworks. So if the gas is too high to buy cigarettes to light your fireworks, them 3 strikes right there. Ain't nobody trying to do that to that.
That's why I just found out.
That could be the reason why it's been quiet. But again, here we go. We talking about straw gun sales. That's the same thing. You could slow a market down. You could really slow a market down if you want to. That's why when Chris was talking about getting the billionaires, and I'm saying the millionaires and the thousandaires too, to pitch in, they gotta want to do it. They ain't got no want to see black people survive. They ain't got no want to see black people live prosperous. They ain't got no want to see us be undead. That's why I was saying, what is their motivation? Yeah, some of them have philanthropic hearts and they care about fresh water and save the dog and lock Michael Vick up and all that. But do they really care? That's my point. Do they really care?
And that's Steve, you got to remember, murders in the United States happen to everybody. So this ain't just for black folks. This is for all folks, okay? Because even there's a lot of poor communities, whatever kind of communities all over the United States. It's just not only poor people is black or only people with guns are young black people. It still goes on in every culture. Even the Chinese have gangs, you see, and murders in Chinatowns and all kind of stuff. So
majority of the problems or the deaths happen to the black people, and that's typically. I'm glad you brought that up because typically white people don't care until it hits them. Oh, wait a minute, Timmy and Jill and Billy, they're in the middle of this drug epidemic, and they're in the middle of these shootings and deaths. We need to do something now. Really? You need to do something now. Really? Okay. Well, should have done that when it was all human beings were being involved. But that's just not how it works in our world. It's got to be something that motivates and have them, in the midst. But nevertheless, y'all, okay, somebody put the Leaders Network is having the police out there. I don't know what date that is. I can barely see it. But I'm blowing it up now. Leaders Network, we're going to have Snelling out there on July 9th. That's Tuesday at 9:30. And if you really think Snelling is going to make a difference, then hey, peace be with you. But I don't know. I'm still trying to feel
That the refractory.
Yeah, that's at I'm sorry. Yeah, at the Jackson Park, 5701 West Jackson Boulevard, Columbus Park Refractory. Y'all need to be there at the Leaders Network meeting, and they're gonna have Andre Grant. I don't know who he is. They got Scott Neville. Scott Neville gonna be there. I might go just to listen to the Chief Justice talk. Pastor Paul Sands, he's gonna be there, and
Hello, I can't hear anything.
He got cut off.
Oh wow. Huh.
can y'all hear me, y'all?
Yeah,
Now
we
we
can hear you
can.
now.
Hello. We about to wind down anyway, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
We hear you.
Yeah.
Anybody, somebody, one body.
He can't hear us.
Crystal.
Oh, he can't hear us. Oh.
Oh,
Crystal been the
because
one
I
with
hear
the
them
Can you hear
fine.
me?
conversation
Can you hear me, Steve?
today. Where you at? I
Can
can't
you
hear
hear
you,
me?
Crystal, but go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, somebody. Let me see. If I
Maybe
can
You
she
get
put
can't
rid of
hear,
something
it.
in the
you can't
chat.
Go
hear
ahead.
us.
Anybody? So we can get ready to log on down and log on out.
You can't hear us, Steve. We talking, but you can't hear us.
No. All right, y'all. I usually go around the room and ask everybody if they got anything for the end of the show. We are already at the 8:10 hour. And if y'all hear me or you don't, I'm just gonna say, hey, I think we had a good show today. Appreciate everybody coming out. As DeAndre always says, you know, we just want to have our voice and have people come and sit at the table because we couldn't sit at anybody else's. We had to create our own. And we always like to welcome y'all to Northwest Austin Council. Good night, y'all. Take it easy.
Good night.
Somebody on there, somebody
Good
got something
night.
to say. Hold on. If I can get you there, if I can get you on, I
Can
can't
you
see.
hear us?
Hold on, one
You
second.
can-
Go ahead, say it, Crystal.
Boy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Go ahead, say it, Crystal.
Can you hear me? Nothing.
I
I
don't
wasn't gonna
think
say that. I don't think
I
you
don't
can
think he
hear me.
can. I don't think he can, Crystal. I put
Okay.
something in the chat, but he didn't even
Okay.
respond to the chat.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay. Bye. I just waved bye.
Bye bye. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, no,
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
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 They all gone. They gone out. All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.